Hello, good morning. How can you find balance in your life? I was supposed to start with that, wasn't I? Never mind. Happy Tuesday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Today, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, as I always say. Okay, it's not really your actual birthday. There are 4 people today to say actual happy birthdays too. But this is the first day of the rest of your life, so why wait to start living a life you love? Why not start today? And today we are going to talk about balance. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but of course I'm going to start off by saying happy birthday to the people whose real birthdays it is today. 3 of which I don't think I know that particularly well. Bernard Keevy, not quite sure I know where I know you from, but hello and happy birthday to you. Kevin Burton, I actually thought you were a different Kevin Ford, and I noticed you tagged Kevin Ford, so I'm guessing you know Kevin Ford somehow. But happy birthday to you, Kevin. You're in America. And happy birthday to Dan McAndrew. No idea where I know you from either, Andrew. Dan. So I hope you have a lovely birthday anyway. And Sammie Edgar, who I do know quite well, who does Journey of Words. He does beautiful paintings made up of all the words that are relevant to the painting. So she'll do a painting of, for example, a couple, and all the words that you feel about each other. Phone just blew off. She'll incorporate into the painting. Sorry about that for anybody who was watching. Lost all my yeah, as the phone fell off, I accidentally pushed some wrong buttons and it just cruises everything on it. Anyway, hello. Happy birthday again. Here we are again. So happy birthday to those people. Sammie Edgar, yes, Edgar rather, sorry, does these beautiful Journeys of Words paintings, where she will take an image and then turn it and paint the whole image out of the words. It's very cool. Go and have a look at her page, her Facebook, link to her Facebook page. Very good. And the other guys who I said happy birthday to, feel free to tell us what you do in the comments below, and tell people what they can buy from you. That'd be kind of cool. And Sammie, if you've got any special offers or something, post that as well. That'd be cool. Right, back to balance. How can we find balance in our lives? Okay, so I should probably do balance. Huh? It's balance. No, balance, not this. Well, it's a seesaw, isn't it? Like a seesaw. I don't know. It's actually up and down balance as well. So the top 10 today is from a lady called Eshter Perel, who was in Auschwitz, I think, or one of the concentration camps, I think, as a child. I'm not sure. I wasn't 100% certain on that one because I was so excited about some of the things that she was talking about, which is quite interesting. She talks about having a sort of 4-way balance. So it's between connection and freedom. We'll talk about this more in a minute. And between discipline and chaos, or fun, potentially. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I also want to point out just one more thing from the Loveability book, which I just started reading more. Oh, by the way, I'm back. You noticed the Loveability book. It said, which was quite a nice line, which I just wanted to bring in. It's not really relevant to what we're talking about particularly, although it may come in a little bit later on. But it's, how many times can you fall in love with the same person? I like that line, because I think when you're in love with the same person, you actually fall in love with them continuously all day. No, I say all day, every day, but every day you fall in love with them a little bit more, and it gets bigger and bigger over time. So I think, technically speaking, with somebody you're like properly in love with, you fall in love with them every day. So you hundreds of times, thousands of millions of times, I guess, you fall in love with them, which is kind of cool. I like that idea. It's kind of a concept. And the other thing that he said in that book as well, in this section, was love is about saying you loved, being able to say you love someone, but without the exclusivity of everybody. So you can also love everybody, which I think we talked about in previous ones anyway. But it's kind of fun. And I think that balance is kind of important there as well. It's like, are you just loving one person? Are you putting them on? We talked about idolatry and putting them on a pedestal and that sort of stuff. Or are you loving everybody and getting a bit more balance into that love part of the world? It's kind of cool. Hello to the 2 viewers, by the way. I can't see who you are, so hello to you. Feel free to give me some love or say something in the comments, and then I know who you are. That'd be great. Okay, so connection and freedom. So this is Esther's thing. It was she's talking about how we all want this. We want a stable connection. We want this kind of place, the rock that we can call home, as it were. But we also want this freedom because we don't want to get stuck in this kind of nowhere place. We're not going anywhere, but we're stuck in this place here. Just going to drop this down slightly so I can actually see the pictures, and then I might recognise people as they come in. Cool. Nope, can't see who that is. So yeah, this rock, this home. Robert Baxter, hello, good morning to you. Anna Clark, hello, good morning to you as well. This rock and freedom. I thought about this as a little bit like a difference between a tree, there's trees around me here, trees, and birds. So birds have this like massive freedom. They can go anywhere they like and they're completely free. And a tree is kind of fixed and stable and stuck. But the bird uses the trees, doesn't it? Because the bird puts its nest in the trees. Its connection is the tree. And so you have this sort of stable thing, but then they go out and come back and go out and come back. So they have the freedom and the stability. So that's nature just showing you how things could be and should be. And they do say, if you love someone, let them go. And if they love you, they'll come back. Which comes back to our how many times you fall in love with somebody thing. And that's the kind of idea. You need to give people the freedom to be able to live their lives so that then they can feel that freedom without feeling hemmed in and connected. And I know abusive relationships is one of those sort of things where it's you feel the connection, but it's too restrictive and you're not really enjoying your life. So it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area. And the other kind of axis, which is the vertical one that Esther talked about, was discipline and fun, or chaos as she called it, discipline and chaos. Discipline is like rules and regulations and keeping you knowing grounded and knowing where you stand. So again, it's a little bit like the connection thing, but it's more like structure. And tree has structure, of course, so there is that. And then the chaos is kind of like the fun, just having a lot of fun, playing around and love and all this kind of stuff, and just enjoying life. But you can't have too much fun without the discipline, because otherwise it becomes a nightmare. And I was thinking about this on the run. I was actually listening to the Blinkist book of the day, which is about President Obama, or ex-President Obama now, I guess. Very good, interesting background information on him and how he came to power, into politics really. From a day of being a party animal as a young man. So he was a party animal, and then got the discipline later on. And I was thinking about how some people who come from a chaotic home life will tend to venture towards a gang, and gang politics and so forth, because the gang is giving them the stability, it's giving them the rules, it's giving them the structure where they know where they stand, they know what the rules are, they know that if they do this, then they're going to be in trouble. If they do this, then this is the right thing to do. The rules are very straightforward and fixed, whereas they might come from a chaotic home where the rules are not very clear. And quite often I've heard children who are, I don't know how to explain this really, but children who are struggling to stay within the boundaries. Okay, so let's put it the other way around. Parents will create rules, but not stick to them. So they'll say, if you do this, then this will happen. And then they break the rule, and then they realise that the consequences didn't happen. So they go, oh, well, in that case, I can break the rules all the time. And of course, that happens in society as well, the same thing. In fact, we've seen this, and this is a classic example. I saw this the other day with Boris Johnson going out for a bike ride, and people saying, oh, well, he's had it before, so you shouldn't worry about it. So, yeah, but he's setting a precedent. He's showing that you can go out for this 7-mile bicycle ride without consequences, as it were. And the same thing happened with Dominic Cummings, didn't he? He went off to Durham. And then where were the consequences? Where were the rules? And then everybody else goes, well, if there's no rules for them, then why should we do any rules? And then suddenly you have breakdown because it doesn't look like the rules are being enforced, and therefore you have chaos. As soon as that discipline fails, then you have the chaos, and that's where these things happen. So that's where you need this balance. You need this balance between the rules and chaos. You need to know where you stand. So in these parenting scenarios that I've come across a few times, you need to set boundaries that you are going to enforce, so not ridiculous boundaries. So as an example, here's a story. I was in the airport once. I think I was flying to Florida at the time. Yes, I probably was flying to Florida for a convention of some kind, and there was this family, and the children were running riot around the departure gate they were at, and the mum said to one of the children and said, if you don't stop messing around, we're not going to go to Disney World, or Disneyland. And I just sat there thinking, they're never going to enforce that rule. There's no way they pay thousands of pounds to go to Disneyland, and the child running around the airport is enough for them to cancel the whole holiday, take everybody else back. The other children who weren't misbehaving, they're suddenly going to be punished for not going. It's like this ridiculous rule. You're never going to enforce that rule. So you're much better off setting a more gentle rule that you will enforce, and therefore create those barriers properly. Anyway, great. So that's I've gone off a lot of the ball on that. Hopefully it was helpful. Hello, people who are watching. Sarah was watching. How lovely. So yeah, anyway, that was balance. So it's between connection and freedom, between discipline and chaos. So between belonging and becoming, between stability and change, all kind of stuff. So look at all those balances and where you can fit into them. A couple of other things that came out of today's Blinkist. Oh, by the way, that Eshter Perel top 10 is in the description, so feel free to go and have a look at that. She also said, always and never comes into relationships a lot. You always do this and you never do this. And actually, that language isn't helpful at all, because there will always be an exception to that rule where somebody did do the thing that you say they always do or didn't do or whatever. And she said, it's much better to say, I feel like you always do, or I feel like you never do. And then you're taking the pressure off, because you say, it makes me feel like you never do these things because it always seems like you're doing them. So anyway, I think that's my 10 minutes for today. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. I wasn't really timing it well, so I'm going to finish early just in case, I think. So yeah, so there you go. I've got some other things I wanted to talk about, but I will talk about those tomorrow or another day. And because they don't really relevant to the topic of the day anyway. So there you go. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Have a lovely Tuesday. Send love out into the world. And remember, every day is your birthday. So go out and celebrate.